So I'm delighted this morning to be with Aaron. So I did a little bit of research about Aaron's surname. Um, I still will probably spell it or pronounce it wrongly. So Aaron, I'll leave that over to you regarding your surname, and that you can go into a little bit more detail. But massive thanks for joining me in these turbulent times, and these are turbulent times. I don't want to overcook the book or anything like that. I've seen people say it's business as usual. And maybe it is business as usual in one respect, or people trying to create normality in their business. But hand on heart, it's not really business as usual. Um, yes, it may be in a week or two, but longer term, I have to admit, when we spoke about 9 days ago, you mentioned the R word. And I have to admit, I thought, what are you talking about? No. Then a few hours later, or maybe the next day, I see a post from Gavin Gallagher, Gavin J. Gallagher, and he mentioned the R word as well. I thought, okay, maybe there is something coming. Um, Look, it surprised me the speed, Aaron. So, look, yes, we have an event dedicated to recession proof in your property business. It's on the 26th of March. It's an evening event. It's online, so access to the um, interviews with the panelists. Just look, I don't want to get too emotive on the subject, so just your own thoughts, Aaron, on where we are.
Well, thank you, Brendan. This is an unprecedented time in terms of where we are in this country, but it's only an unprecedented time because we haven't been here for a while. We have been here before, and this is what people do not realize, and not in my lifetime, but ultimately history points to the future and what we've survived. Now, I don't want to trivialize this in any way. As you would know, Brendan, I have been speaking about this since January. I've been speaking about this since January, not for people to get hysterical, but for people to be prepared properly for what is to come. Now, there are three things that we know. Number one, we have no idea how long this is going to last. So we can be certain about that. Number two, it is not going to last forever. We can also be certain about that. And number three, life is going to have to go on at whatever point it ends.
Aaron, can I interrupt? So point two, when you say it won't last forever, I understand this, we're going to have a vaccine at some point, but it just shows to me a few things, the fragility of the ecosystem which we have right now, which isn't able to deal sufficiently without creating a crisis. I see it as a crisis. Most people do. It's certainly not normality in London. And so forth. Tubes are still quite busy this morning. I've seen pictures online of underground being empty. It's not quite that. But walking through Soho, I have to admit, even on the weekend, you could see that London was being affected. And look, I see some people, and it's understandable, saying business as usual, and people do want business as usual. However, it's not quite when it's more than just the health condition, is also the economic conditions as well. Of course, I'm going to go into a lot more detail with a number of economists over the next few days. I'm really lucky in one position. I have some of the best people in the world who I'm connected to in one way or another, who, hand on heart, have got more knowledge than I have. But that's their speciality. Aaron, look, it's not all doom and gloom, and the panel is therefore one of the key panels of the decade, I would say. You know, how, and my panelists, hand on heart, they don't have a crystal ball either, but I'm delighted that Rod Turner has just confirmed today. We've got Julia Wetherell, David Lawrenson, who's a best time bestseller property book. He's been in property since 1980s, graduated from Cass University with an MBA, performed really well on one of my panels a couple of years ago, presented a number of times as well, spoken at National Landlord Association. He comes, I would say, from a more landlord background than possibly Rod Turner and Julia Wetherall, but he also understands the whole picture as well. So what do you think the panel can offer on the 26th of March?
You see, at this point in time, what we're looking for is, we are property people, but you might have also heard the term bandied about that property is a people business. At the moment, the overriding emotion behind what's going on is people are uncertain and they don't know where to turn to for support. People still have the normal concerns that will be going on day by day. They still have to find places to live. They still have bills to pay for. They still have tenants to look after. And what the panel can do, having come through 2 recessions, is to provide a degree of certainty and support, and not from theory, but living through it. And I was lucky to be at Rod's workshop in January, which if anyone was there would see was great value to prepare for a time like this, which is all about putting the systems, the buffers in place, so you can track, dial up or dial down the activity as needed. Now, for anyone who's in property and unsure and uncertain about what's going to happen, and they need practical, actionable steps from experienced people who've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 property cycles, this panel has come just at the right time, because we have to recession-proof the business and prepare for the opportunity to serve as we come out of the other curve.
And I've done a little bit of a disservice, Aaron. So I haven't even mentioned Daryl Norcott. So
an extra panelist.
Yeah, an extra panelist. So
yeah.
I was going to say, Aaron, we've got Daryl Norcott as well from Lendwell. Really delighted. I was speaking to Daryl yesterday just to make sure that he can still be on the panel and so forth. I think the mood has changed from last week, though, to this week as well. People do realize it's not just going to be over in a short space of time. There are longer repercussions as well.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to make this video all doom and gloom and people head to the pub, because there's no pub to head to, or very few pubs in Soho. I think pubs are probably going to be closing down fairly soon for a while. So look, in terms of what the panelists can offer, Aaron, and going forward, where do you see yourself? Is it managing your credit better and your debtors as well? Is that one of the key things which people can do? Is that what Rod Turner alluded to in January?
Absolutely. I think this is a great time for a total system review, where you actually look at, so one of the first things I'd say in reverse is trim the fat. It's a great time to sit down, because physically that's what a lot of us will have to, with not being able to move around. You'll have to sit down, review all the costs, all the expenses, review everything that's going in and everything that's coming out. Also expect that you might have some delays in things coming out. Speak to your lenders. There's also a few things. I'm expecting the government to announce measures, to have massive QE in the system. Interest rates are lower again. There's going to be cheap money. Now, as Daryl will probably tell you, as an expert, banks never stopped lending during the recession, but they only lent to people with robust portfolios and with enough equity. Not only lent, but that made you more likely to get the lending. Now, so there is going to be opportunity. There is going to be opportunity if you're.
What's the word, Aaron? So there's going to be opportunity for those who are prepared. So
yes.
Opportunities comes to those who are prepared. So
yes.
look, Aaron, I know you've got your hands full. So I look forward to seeing you on the 26th of March online, 6:30 p.m. And I know before that we've got the Commercial Summit post review as well. That's this coming Friday at 9 a.m. Any final thoughts? Because I know you're quite busy.
Yes, I mean, my final thought is just quite simple. Keep your head up, get the right knowledge and act, and we'll all get through this. So make sure you use this time to actually stock up on the knowledge, to really read through the notes, to prepare yourself to be in a robust situation. Because one thing we do know for sure, life will go on at some point. We will be disrupted, but we've been through this before as a nation, and it's time for us to rediscover it and do it again. So I look forward to seeing you both on Friday the 20th for the commercial summit
post review,
and on the 27th. This
the 26th.
Brendan, I will get it right at some point. But either way, yes, be cautious. Yes, have some concerns, but don't be worried. Don't take it too lightly, but also have some perspective. Look out for your neighbors. Look out for the people that aren't quite in the position you are. The ones looking for your leadership. I'll be looking to see you online on Zoom.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you to the listeners.